Hello everyone and welcome back to Assassin's Creed Valhalla with me, longclawvalhalla and Steel, where we always deliver. Eivor has been summoned to Wincestre, the seat of King Alfred the Great's power, by a mysterious guest, and when he arrives he discovers that the invite came from none other than King Alfred himself. You see, the king has three order members in his court that threaten his power, and he has called upon Eivor to root them out and kill them for him. So this is familiar territory, but a character we have not encountered yet, and this has been brewing for a while. King Alfred, of course, we saw him when we were in the previous story arcs, and he introduced us to Falke and is responsible for imprisoning his brother Sigurd. So let's see how this story arc plays out. Something tells me this will not go the way we think. So first up, the king has asked us to track down his most trusted reeve, Goodwin, and need to go to his home. His home is already besieged by some of the guards that are probably working for the Order, so you can either kill them or try and sneak in, but there are clues inside that you need to investigate, just a few, and it will send you to another location. It seems that Goodwin has been captured and is being held in a compound that is protected by Order members. So this is the Wincestre Garden, and there are some other I think allies that are already caged up inside the compound, so let them free as usual, get them out as quickly as possible, and they will help you with the rest of the onslaught. And then you need to go inside the main part of the garrison, and to do that you need to find a key which is in the building just outside the main gates, and then just walk through. He is in the lower part of the garrison, under in a sort of basement cell, and once you've got him you are free to make your way out. He's a character that's going to help you with the rest of the Order members, and this is all about tracking down three high-ranking Order members who are already using Wincestre to corrupt King Alfred's Christian message. Remember, the Order are heretics and they don't believe in Christianity, and they believe that running and ruling a country under a Christian law is the wrong thing to do. Eivor doesn't care much about this. This is all about an alliance, and I struggle to see how King Alfred will provide a alliance. In fact, I cannot believe that he is an ally to Eivor at all. However, it makes perfect sense that Alfred the Great uses the Viking warriors to do his bidding. There was some research which was also inside the compound, which we had to steal back for Goodwin, and he gives you all of the information on the rest of the Order members, the Seek and the Quill as well, and the Gallows. And first up we're going to see if we can find the Seek. The Seek is in the marketplace already, about to decapitate a poor hapless town person, and you have a little cutscene that just shows how villainous he is. And this is very simple. Couldn't believe quite how simple. Familiar territory for those Assassin's Creed fans. You simply drop down from above him, and then you're going to have to take out the guards afterwards. And a lot of these high-ranking Order members are not particularly big boss fights. In fact, there hasn't really been a really big boss fight from one of the Order members since, I think, my fight with Falke. So I just killed him and then took out the guards and got the confirmed kill. And you get to, this is, in this particular story arc, it's all about the post-death scene that you get with Odin, and that explains the motive behind some of these killers. And that is, I think, one point to consider as you're playing the game is that each of these, the high-ranking order members that you're going after, you don't really know anything about them until you actually take them out. And in some cases, you're given a bit of information, but most of the time you're just told, pointed in the direction. And for me, it's all about just collecting those medallions so I can give them back to Hytham. And remember, Hytham is back in Ravensthorpe, and he is the one that sort of pointed me in this direction, and the invite came via him. So they must be aware of the hidden order. The Sikh is really a nasty piece of work. He's been corrupting and murdering townspeople and the people of Wincestre, anyone who speaks out against him. And you need to report back to Alfred and Goodwin in between, and they're not particularly happy at the way you've done things. I mean, they wanted me to kill these people, but the fact that I assassinated them in public, I guess they don't like that. But this next segment suggests that there are some children that are under the control of the Order, and the Quill is the next target, and she has been using the children to run around and do her bidding, a bit like Game of Thrones and the little sparrows. So we are going to follow this young child who happened to be eavesdropping into my conversation with Alfred, and you can basically interact with any kids that you find in this mission, and eventually you'll get to meet Elwyn and her brother Wigmund, and they are both I assume they're brother and sister, maybe they're just friends, but they're basically, they have been tailed by two members of the Order, and they're basically giving you the information you need about the Quill's whereabouts. You can either choose to flight your way out of this one or just go straight in for the kill. Once you've done that, you need to try and find the entrance to the Order's temple. This is underneath the bank side of the river. So once you've taken these out, interact with the little girl again, and she will give you enough information, and Wigmund, her little brother or whatever, gives you a key, and that allows you to enter through the domain doors. Now, as soon as this happened, I was thinking, why would you give me this key? That they present it so that it's almost like they're helping you, because they feel that they're under the boot of the Quill and want to be released from that sort of corruption. But something is alarm bells are telling me that this might not be the smartest move. But we need to head down into the underground networks that sort of run underneath. And I knew that this might happen because I could see, as I was moving around at ground level, a lot of treasure underground. So there's a few things to pick up here as well. There are a load of kids that kind of red herrings, really. A load of kids sort of sat around. You can interact with them and talk, and they're all oppressed and not happy to be hungry and things like that. So it's really just hammering home that this is a nasty piece of work that's kind of corrupting and oppressing the children of Wincestre. But it does seem that I was right about the little girl. She was just trying to drag me here because the Quill wants me dead. So Hilda is the Quill, and this again surprises me that there's obviously a bit of combat here. She sets her guards on me, but you can just climb up the wall and go straight for her. And again, not much of a boss fight. I just took her out. She did try to run off, and there is a huge Goliath that came right after me. But if you focus your attention on her, you can take her out. And the last thing I wanted was her running off, and then just clear out the guards afterwards. And again, all of the dialogue is kind of similar. The Order members kind of hint that you have no idea how powerful we are. We're just one wheel of a much bigger organisation, and suggesting that there are still many Order members to go. But taking out these 3 Order members in Wincestre is quite a dent in the Order's high-ranking network, and I think I'm getting fairly far through the Order menu. Again, need to report back to Alfred, and Goodwin is having a drink in one of the taverns, and he explains that it's actually the Bishop Aylesford is supposedly the Sikh who was already identified as the first Order member, and when I was told this at the start of the story arc, I figured that eventually I'd have to kill him because there's no way that he could be dead. So Bishop Aelfrith is recently passed. His funeral is today, and Goodwin says that I can go there and investigate. And here it's just about trying to figure out the proof that I need that the bishop is actually still alive and that he's not. So the gallows and the quill are dead, but the Sikh, I think, still remains, and he's supposedly shrouded there, and people are worshipping him, and his sister is there. But there are a few clues around, and the first one being that the body itself seems a little small for someone of such a large stature. And if you talk to this guy here, he explains that one of his friends went missing, and I think that that's probably who they used. They used his body. You find some clothes here as well, and that's enough proof for me to go back to the bishop's sister Harriet and accuse her flat out of lying. And at this point she will run into one of the small crypts, and her guards will be set upon you, and if you take the guards out, you can then have one final interaction with Harriet. And it does seem that for some reason the bishop has faked his own death, as a way of, I think, allowing him to attempt to take Alfred's position, and he is planning on forcing Alfred out of power and trying to take his power from him. And again, this is why Alfred wants my assistance. Eivor has been called here because Alfred doesn't know how to handle the Order members, and I can tell really that this is just, I'm being used as a puppet here just to clear out some of the scum that is again threatening Alfred's power. So Aelfrith is in the ceremony, and he's dressed as one of the guards, and this is kind of hard because there are several kind of high ranking bad guys that you've got to kill all at once, and they all have longswords, so it could be quite difficult. But again, just focusing my attention on him, because once you've identified him, that's it. When you go back to Alfred, there's a bit of a red herring sending you through the sewers to find a temple, and there's really nothing there, and I was a bit disappointed about that. So when I went back to interact with Alfred one final time, he gave me a choice to stay in Wincestre and live my life as a Christian, or be gone and be forever hunted down as a pagan scumbag. And this is not very nice. I've just done all of his dirty work for him, and now he is outing me and marking me for death. And he does give me some silver to take on the boat, but Eivor is not going to be happy with that. I mean, he wanted an alliance, and I don't think I really ever expected to get an alliance from King Alfred, and I'm pretty sure that the final story arc is going to involve me fighting Alfred's forces. And remember, this is Alfred the Great we're talking about here. He would never have made an alliance with a Viking settlement such as mine, so I guess this is the way it is. And escaping from Wincestre is not that hard, to be honest. I just ran. You can get in. You can have a massive fight in the town, or you can just get on your horse and get the hell out of there. And that's all I wanted to do, just to feed back all of this to Randy and see what happens next.